And who are you?
I'm Slakinski. I'm a senior developer at HiiDef. We are a startup incubator, and we've launched a number of websites, including two that I'm going to talk about today, I hope, is flavors.me and Goodsie.com.
And what do they do? What is flavors.me?
Yeah, we should probably start with Flavors because Goodsie is very much along the same idea. It's a way to create a personal brand, a personal homepage that's using all of your social media content from around the web. So we pull in tweets, blogs. We support over 20 services that you can pull in from. Yeah.
Now, hearing all that, it sounds like you're competing with all the aggregators like Google Profiles, for instance, or FriendFeed, or ClickSet, or there's a whole bunch of aggregators, right, that'll aggregate all my stuff and build me a homepage of my stuff.
Right, and those services feel very much like a live stream that they're constantly going in. Our approach is more of a design-centric homepage that you can send somebody to that aesthetically looks good, describes who you are. You have a lot of controls of that look and feel. As well, it's more about the content, not the interaction with it. So we don't have like commenting on each individual item.
Oh, that's cool,
right.
Because if I'm trying to build a business site about myself, like a resume site,
right,
I only want myself to show up. I don't want people to be able to comment and say,
right.
"Oh, Scoble's a jerk," right?
I mean, they can always click through to the link and then say that if they want to on any of the other services that you're trying to pull in.
Yeah.
Right.
What I really liked about your service, it just had a beautiful design aesthetic, right?
Right.
And people could really control their brands.
We have a number of different layouts that you can pick from, and then everything else from there is customizable. We have hundreds of web fonts that you can use, full color palette control. And they're very simple, easy to use controls.
Just let's talk about web fonts for a second,
yeah.
Because until you see good typography on the web, you don't understand how emotional the emotional experience that it has for the viewer, right?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the different fonts that you can choose in the tool or the service, and where those came from.
Right. So we worked with Foundries in order to get a number of fonts that you can use, and we're still working, trying to get licensing for more. That's probably the biggest trick with getting all these different fonts. Because now we can do this, they look stunning, they render really well, but they also have their own personality that can really relate to you and how things look and how you want to present yourself, from a fun, funky font to something like a Helvetica that's very straight and clean.
Okay.
Right.
And if I'm a Coca-Cola or I work for Rackspace, right?
Yeah.
And we have a brand, we have branding guidelines, and we have a look and feel that we want to present to people who come to our pages. What kinds of things can I do around the content that will let me brand my page?
Right. So as I was saying, that you have full control over the color palette. You can upload a background image and either scale that or tile it or do whatever you want in that regard. We obviously don't have the Coca-Cola font in our library, but you could use something close, or you use something more to your pleasing than just the standard stock fonts that a Twitter or a Facebook would give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can certainly put the Coca-Cola logo in the picture underneath the content, right? And you can make it all red if you want, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool. Looking through some of the pages, tell me a little bit about how some of your users are using it, and sort of visually take us through.
People are taking the different designs and really making it their own, especially with the fonts and the palettes, and also using really professional photography, either that they've taken themselves or is Creative Commons licensed or whatnot, and really giving it the site their own personality. We have layouts that just show the picture with a couple of links to each one of the services content at the top or on the side, and really kind of focus on that personal style. But we also have layouts that are like the grid layout, which are for our premium users, and that is more like a newspaper layout. So it can exhibit all the different services that you're on, all on one page. So it's more about the content than the look and feel.
How many services can be imported into the page right now?
We support about 20, but one of them is RSS, so which opens it up to a lot of
Millions.
services. Yeah, exactly.
Millions. So you support all the usual Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, that kind of thing?
Yeah, Dig, TripIt, SoundCloud. Yeah.
And in the grid layout, you can see each one of those coming in.
Right, and you can organize them. And the higher up in the grid layout, the more space it will take up, and the more that you can see. So if you get like a Tumblr and you put that right at the top, you see a full section of your last blog post, and then about 5 recent blog posts that you can click through and see.
How long does it take? Because some of these look like they were designed by a graphic designer. Even though they just have a photo with some really nice text. So how long does it take to create an average profile that looks good?
I would say about 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it takes no time.
Of course, you need a photo.
Yeah. I mean, if you have your material and you know what you want, and obviously there's tweaking over time. I'm constantly in there changing colors, changing a background, playing around with the different fonts to see what I like best. But you can have something that's looking decent very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And just add in all your services.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about the business. How are you guys funded? How old are you? What's your adoption? Tell me.
The company's been around for about 5 years. We started out with a site called Superkicks, which was a shopping website or a way to find the cheapest prices or who had particular sneakers. It was an interest of one of our founders. So that's what we started out doing. It's angel funded currently. We haven't taken on any major funding yet.
Okay.
The second site has been Flavors, and the third site that we're launching is Goodsie. And Goodsie has the same concept and design aesthetics as Flavors, but it's for people that are on eBay store or an Amazon store that want to take it to the next level and have their own storefront. So they can design it and make it look good, but we have inventory management and shopping cart management and that type of thing.
Got it.
But it's the exact same design tool that they use.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How are you guys going to make money? Are you going to start putting the ads all over these pages?
No. We have a free version of Flavors, which you can add 3 services and I believe about 10 fonts. And if you want more fonts, more designs, be able to add more services, and use a custom domain name, then it's $20 a year.
Yeah, so the custom domain name, does that still have flavors in it?
No.
Okay, so it could be...
Yeah, if you buy your own domain name, then you can use it.
So I could be scobalizer.com, and it would take me right to my flavors page.
Right, or you can use like flavors.scobalizer.com and have just... That's what that viewport looks like.
Okay.
We are looking at possibly adding the ability to buy domain names in the future. That's something that we're actively researching.
Now the tiles from all these different services, they're not really real time yet, right? And the spiders you have go every hour and gather that stuff.
Yeah, approximately every hour. Some services are faster or slower. We are working. I'm actively working on pulling in direct things, and one of my coworkers is working on Twitter, getting that absolutely real time because that's one of our #1 services.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they provide a service where we can get it real time, we're working actively to make that real time.
Very cool. What else are you thinking about doing? That I know you were playing with the iPad yesterday, and you're here at the WWDC, the Apple Developer Conference. Are you working on an iPad version? Because this certainly has the aesthetic of an iPad app.
Right. Currently, I don't think we're going to have an iPad app, but we're going to make it work with all the touch gestures. Okay. Primarily, we're here to learn a lot about how to make websites work better on the iPad and the iPhone, so that you can edit, you can make the pages look better, you can do better store management within Goodsie. Although store management does lend itself to an app better than a website. But we're playing around with those ideas, and we have future products that we got thinking that we have in our back of our heads.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything else that you think we should know about Flavors? Or
no, other than to come check out the site and create your own personal brand. I think it's crucial that if you're spread out on all these different services, that you have, the scobalizer.com, the Slakinski.com, where you can point somebody to on a business card or an email that just has all those things within it.
Yeah,
that is just auto-updating on its own.
I'm switching over to it from Google Profiles because it just lets me present a much more a much more beautiful view of,
Yeah.
of what I'm doing. I mean, Google Profiles does pretty much the same thing, but it's really ugly.
Yeah, so, and I hope that the design team has created a lot of great tools for you to really make it your own.
Very cool.
Make it fit into, everything else that you've done.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.